like to introduce to you Senior Airman Brenda Carlson, Lieutenant Carla and the pilot of the helicopter, Chief Warrant Officer Chris Bryce, and they will be presenting today. Thank you.
I'm not a big fan of these microphones because I move around so much. But the television camera over there told me I had to use it, so I'm going to have to put up with it, and so do you. So, my name is Brenda Carlson. I'm a part of the Montana National Guard. I'm a senior airman, which means I'm not very high-ranking at all. Unlike the other two individuals sitting here, they're my bosses, really. So, we came today to talk about drugs, okay? The job that I do Monday through Friday is I get to go into schools and communities all across the state of Montana to teach drug education. Why do you think that's important, and why do you think your school's invited us here? What do you guys think? Go ahead. Yeah, if I give you information, maybe that will prevent you from... maybe that will prevent you from using drugs, correct? Why do you think? Because you're in a drug unit in class? Is that what you said? Okay, so you're learning about drugs in what class? Health enhancement or science, or what class? Science? Okay, good. So you're going to be able to help me throughout this presentation as well, because you guys are paying very close attention in science, aren't you? Good. All right, why else do you think? Why else do you think that your school has invited us in to give this presentation? Go ahead. Okay, good. So you don't get yourself into a situation where you're using or abusing drugs? Do you want to know why I think your school has invited me here? Because they care very much about you. Your teachers care about you. Your counselors care about you. Your principal cares about you. Your community cares about you. That's why they have us come in. Because the more information that you guys have, the better choices you're able to make. So do your parents, they care about you, don't they? But can they make choices for you? No. Can I make choices for you? No. Can your teachers make choices for you? No. Who makes the choices? You guys do. Absolutely. Every single one of you sitting there, you make the choice for yourself, don't you? So, what are some dreams that you guys have? What do you guys want to do when you're finally done with school? What do you want to do? Go ahead. Okay, preschool teacher, which is outstanding. Okay, great. A pilot. So you and Chris Bryce get along pretty well then, I bet. Chris Bryce was the pilot that brought us in here on the helicopter. Do you want to fly helicopters or planes? Planes. Good. All right. What do you want to do?
I want to be
Navy SEALs. Awesome. Good. Marine. Awesome. A surgeon. Woo, you're going to be making the big bucks. What about you? Very good. Wildlife biologist. You have a lot of work here in Montana, don't you? Okay. A veterinarian. Good. Horses or dogs? Or all of the in between? Little animals or big animals? Okay.
Marine biologist.
Marine biologist. Good. What do you think? An artist. Very good. Okay. So think back for me. Think back to when you were about 5 years old. I know that's been a while ago. Use your imaginations and, put yourselves back there. And Mom was cooking dinner in the kitchen, and you came in from playing outside and you said, "Oh, Mom, I really want a cookie. Can I have a cookie? Can I have a cookie? Can I have a cookie?" You know how 5-year-olds can be. "Can I have a cookie? Can I have a cookie?" And Mom says, "After dinner, and you have to eat all your vegetables." Okay? So you go scammering off, and you just kept thinking about that cookie, and you just wanted that cookie so bad. And Mom stepped out of the kitchen for just a second, and you snuck in there and snuck a cookie. Okay? I know none of you have done anything like that, right? Okay? I was 5 years old once. I know how it works. Okay, so you snuck a cookie and you got away with it. That decision to sneak the cookie when you were 5 years old, did that affect you the rest of your life? Did that make a difference today? Is that going to make a difference 20 years from now? She's shaking her head. No, it's not. Okay? It's really no big deal. At 5 years old, you're learning. At 5 years old, you're trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong and what Mom and Dad's expectations are of you. That's what you do when you're 5. What about now? You're not 5 anymore, are you? No, a lot of you. Where are my 8th graders? Where are you guys going to high school next year? Okay, so you have a couple choices, don't you? Okay, and so do you go into Missoula to go to high school then? Okay, so you're leaving your nice, small community and small school that you've gone to probably since kindergarten to go into a big city. Missoula's not huge, but it's a lot bigger than Clinton, isn't it? The decisions that you make today, are they going to affect you 20 years from now? Yeah. And it doesn't matter what the decision is. Okay, sleeping in this morning and faking that you're sick so you didn't have to come to school, would that have affected you the rest of your life? Maybe a little bit, okay? Because one time, ooh, I got away with it today, I bet I can do it again next week. And you do it again and again and again, and pretty soon it snowballs, and you're ditching school all the time and failing classes, and pretty soon you're having to redo the 7th grade or redo the 6th grade because you can't get yourself to school. So one decision can turn into a big, huge ordeal, can't it? What are some other choices that you can make right now that will affect you either positively or negatively in the future? 20 years from now, if you look back at the choices you made here at the school or when you go over to the high school, how are those going to affect you positively or negatively?
So, making sure you know what you're doing in classes.
That's right. Go to class. Pay attention. Give your 100%. Even if your 100% is not perfect, nobody's perfect, are we? We all make mistakes. But if we give our best effort, then we'll learn something. And if we learn something here, then we'll go to high school and we'll be able to build on that and learn something there. And if we accomplish those goals in high school, then we can go off to college. Who wants to go to college? Okay, good. You have to go to college usually to have a really good job. You usually have to go to college to earn that money and have that big house. Okay. So what are the kinds of decisions can you make today that will either positively or negatively affect you in the future? What do you think?
Trying to pick the right high school, trying to pick your friends.
Okay.
Because if you don't have your friends in the future, you're gonna have a hard time trying to fit in.
That's right. That's right. Picking your friends is very difficult. Oh gosh. I remember when I was in junior high. I went to a junior high, not a middle school. I know that they call them two different things, but in junior high, I would never, ever want to go back to that age group again, ever. That was the hardest time. When I think back over my childhood, that was the hardest time that I had, trying to figure out who my friends should be, trying to figure out where I fit in life, trying to figure out, geez, do I want to get involved in that? Or do I want to go play sports? Do I want to smoke after school with everybody else that's smoking after school behind the dumpster? Or do I want to go to track practice? I had to make those choices too. Fortunately, I was able to make positive choices in my life, and now I get to do everything that I've ever wanted to do. I get to fly around in a helicopter all the time and visit with young people across the entire state of Montana. If I would have chosen to do drugs, if I would have chosen to be an awful person when I was your age, I wouldn't be standing here right now. I could possibly be in jail or dead or whatever the case may be. Bad choices lead to bad things. Good choices lead to good things, don't they? So today I'm bringing you information that you can choose to make choices in your life. Because I can't make those choices for you, neither can your parents and neither can your teachers. So all we can do is give you skills. We can give you skills, we can give you information, and that's what we're going to do today. So can everybody see that screen? It's really far away, isn't it? So we're going to talk about how drugs affect your body to start out with. And it doesn't matter how the drug gets in there, it's going to affect your body in some way. And it doesn't matter what the drug is. Okay? It can be Robitussin, which is what? What's Robitussin? It's a cough medicine that you can buy at any given store, isn't it? We use it when we're not feeling good, when we have a cough or we have congestion. If that's used improperly, if it's abused, it becomes harmful to our body. So it doesn't matter what we're talking about, whether it's marijuana, methamphetamine, cigarettes, alcohol, heroin, cocaine, prescription drugs, inhalants. It doesn't matter how that drug gets in the body, it's going to start to damage vital parts of your organs that you need to live. So let's start out with, how do drugs get into the system? What's one way? Okay, so sniffing it, like, are you talking about cocaine where it can be snorted? Okay, so if a drug is snorted, we're going to stop right there. If a drug is snorted through the nasal cavity, where does it go from there? Go ahead. It goes to your brain pretty quickly, doesn't it? Like instantly to your brain. How does it get there? Okay. It's being absorbed in your nasal cavity into your bloodstream. And once it's in your bloodstream, it's going directly to your brain, yes, but it's in your bloodstream. Where does your blood go? Everywhere. It circulates your entire body. Your heart pumps it to your lungs. Your heart pumps it through your liver and your kidneys. Your heart pumps it through every vital part of your body. Can you live without your heart? No, you can't live without your heart, can you? Can you go down to Walmart and pick up a new heart for $9.99? No. You have to take care of the one heart that you do have, don't you? Okay, that's snorting it. That's one way a drug can get into the system. What's another way a drug can get in there? Go ahead. It can be inhaled like a cigarette or marijuana or harmful fumes or chemicals from paint fumes or gasoline fumes. Those are all inhaled, which means they go directly where? They go, well, if they're breathed in, what's their first stop? The lungs. The first stop are your lungs. So all of those drugs that are inhaled, the first place they start to damage is your poor lungs. You have these bronchi and cilia in your lungs that try to filter out all that bad junk. Those get damaged, and all of those chemicals just start to take over the functions of the lungs. And pretty soon the lungs don't work the way they should. Okay? Once they're in the lungs, the chemicals also get absorbed right into the bloodstream. Where does the bloodstream go? Everywhere. Heart, liver, kidneys, brain. A drug that's smoked, it only takes 8 seconds for that drug to get to the brain. 8 seconds. Okay? What's another way a drug gets into the system? Injection, like methamphetamine or heroin. Those are drugs that can be injected directly into the bloodstream. So if it gets injected right into the bloodstream, where does it go? All over the body, the heart, the lungs, the liver, the kidneys. Does that make it better to see? Okay. Thank you. Oh, you guys just want to fall asleep on me, and that's not okay. I flew all the way from Helena to be here. You don't want to fall asleep. Okay. So if a drug is injected, it goes straight to the bloodstream. From the bloodstream, it gets routed all over your entire body. Your heart, your lungs, your brain, your liver, your kidneys. Okay. What's another way a drug can enter the system? Through pills or swallowing a drug. So that can either be eaten or drank or taken as a pill. Okay? So if it's swallowed, where does it go? Stomach. Stomach goes from your stomach, it gets digested into your large and small intestines and onto what parts of your body? Your kidney and your livers. Good, I heard somebody say it. Okay, your kidney and your liver, and then it gets into the bloodstream, and then in your bloodstream it goes where? Everywhere. Your heart, your lungs, your brain. Okay? So those are some. I think we're missing at least one. What's another way a drug can enter the system? Go ahead. Okay, that's going to be inhaling as well. So good. That's a good thought. That's a good thought. What's another way? Go ahead. Absorbing it. Good. Okay, so drugs like methamphetamine can be absorbed into the skin, as well as LSD can be absorbed right through the skin. Okay. So if it gets absorbed through the skin into your bloodstream, where does it go? All over your body. Okay. Your heart gets affected, your lungs, your liver, your kidneys, your brain. Okay. Your brain is like your central processing unit. Anybody a computer buff in here? Okay, I have a few computer buffs, I'm sure. Okay, CPU, it runs your entire computer, doesn't it? Okay, in the military, it's like the headquarters. It's like the President of the United States and all of his generals. That's your brain. It controls everything. Without your brain, you have nothing. And every drug we mentioned goes where? Straight straight to the brain and starts to do damage to the individual parts of your brain. And those parts are the parts we're going to talk about specifically today. So we have the central nervous system. That's one part. The central nervous system is going to be responsible for things that happen to your body that you don't have to think about. What are some of the things that just happen and you don't have to say, okay, body, you need to do this now? Breathing, it just happens. Blinking is a simple reflex, it just happens. Sorry? Hiccups, that's your diaphragm messing up, so yep. Your heart rate, your heart just beats and you don't have to think about it. Say again? Actually, your brain has to allow your ears to hear, believe it or not. Okay, so that's not one that happens naturally, but that's something that will happen in the next part of the brain, so keep that in mind. Coughing, that is not a spontaneous action either. Your brain actually needs to tell your body to do it, okay? Blood pressure, good. So your heart beating, breathing, what about digestion? Do you have to tell your stomach to digest your food? No. Okay, that's what's happening in the central nervous system. It's going to take care of those parts of the body that you don't have to think about, but are necessary for life, like your heart beating, and breathing. Okay. The second part of the brain we're going to talk about is called the peripheral nervous system. The peripheral nervous system is your brain's connection to the outside world. So, the young lady here that mentioned hearing, this is the part of the brain that controls. The peripheral nervous system controls all of your senses: sight, sound, touch, hearing. What's that last one? Taste, thank you. Okay, all your 5 senses, this is the part of the brain that controls that. Okay? It's your brain's connection to the outside world, so that your brain knows what's going on around you. Now these 2 parts of the brain that we just went over briefly, because there's a lot more to it, but we went over it briefly because drugs specifically affect these 2 parts of the brain. So if, for example, a person takes a drug that makes them, like alcohol, makes them not be able to walk very well, makes their heart rate go down, makes them not be able to see very well, what parts of the brains are being affected? Okay, definitely their sight. Can you say it louder? Yep, both peripheral and the central nervous system are being affected by that drug. Okay. Once damage is done to the brain, it's permanent. Once drugs get in there and start damaging our little bitty neurons, which we're going to talk about next, they can't fix themselves. It's permanent damage that can't be, it doesn't get better over time. So, we have the central nervous system, we have the peripheral nervous system, and then we have these little things called neurons. Anybody know what a neuron is or what it does? Go ahead. Okay, that as well as other stuff. Anybody else, can you describe to me what a neuron does? Science buffs up there? No? The neurons, you have millions and millions of these neurons all over your entire body, and it's what passes messages to and from the brain. Okay. So, when you're sitting in class and your best friend is clear across on the other side of the room, not that you do this, and not that it's okay to do this, but how do you get a message to your friend that's on the other side of the room? What's that? You don't yell to him, because then the teacher would definitely know and you would get in trouble. Okay, would you really throw it? Or would that cause too much distraction in the classroom as well? You would write a note and maybe pass it to the next person and say, okay, will you pass that on? Not that you guys do this and not that I want you to do this, but it makes a good point, doesn't it? When you want to get a message from one side of the room to another side of the room, you pass them a note. And that's exactly what your brain does as well. It passes a message or a note from one part of the body to another part. So when I stub my toe, a message has to go from my toe up to my brain so that I know that I've stubbed my toe and that it hurts. I don't know that until my brain tells me that that's what's happened. Okay? So we have these neurons. Can I have a brave soul that wants to come down and help me? Okay, come on down. I'm going to need more volunteers in just a second, so hang tight. So, what is your name?
Kendall?
Kendall, can you be a neuron for me?
Sure.
Okay. Neurons, they have specific parts to them. So go ahead and face that direction and stick your arms out straight. Or this way, I'm sorry. Stick your arms out this way. Okay, so neurons, they have different parts. The main part of the neuron, this part here, is called the cell body. When people say drugs kill brain cells, this is the part they're talking about, this main cell body here. But there are more parts to that than just the cell body. They have these little arms that stick out. Those are called axons. And then at the end of the axons are little finger-looking things that are called dendrites. Can you see what I'm talking about back there on the back wall? That's an example, a microscopic view of two neurons. Okay? They have a cell body, they have an axon, and they have dendrites. And they need all of these parts in order for the brain to talk to the rest of the body and to other parts of the brain. Okay, Kendra, you can put your arms down. I need like 5 or so more individuals. I just remembered, Chris, that I forgot my hats, my cool hats. Darn it. I usually have cool hats for my volunteers to wear. Will you come down? Will you come down? You come down? Come on down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I need a brain. In the yellow sweatshirt, will you come down and be the brain? All right, so what we have here, we have our nice brain up here. What is your name? Alex is our brain, and these are neurons throughout the entire body. They're called the neuron team, okay? So what we're going to demonstrate here is how exactly does this all work. The first thing we're going to do is learn how the brain is communicating with the rest of your body normally without any influence from drugs. So what is going on in the body is that we have all of these millions and millions of neurons, right? But these neurons are spread out. So I need you guys to kind of be more than fingertip away in a nice straight line, though. So continue to be in your nice straight line. But you need to be more than a fingertip away from each other, okay? Now, because I wanted them to be more than a fingertip, because this gap in between is very important. This gap is called a synapse, or synaptic gap. And this is important because this neuron here may be in the foot, and it can't run all the way to the brain to give the brain a message. So what does it do? Passes a message from one neuron to another. And the reason and the way that it does that is by passing a chemical called a neurotransmitter. Those neurotransmitters, each individual neuron produce neurotransmitters. So if you have a message to pass to the brain, you send a chemical across this gap, and it like swims across, bloop, 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 swim, 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 and attaches to this neuron. This neuron gets the message, shoots the next chemical down the line until it gets where it needs to be. That's how that works. So I need to actually start down here, because that's the brain down there with Alex. So a body that's working normally, this is what it will look like. Okay, but in order to make it interesting, we tell stories. So let's see here. You just got a brand new puppy. You have to remember that this is one person up here, not several. This is one individual. So this individual just got a brand new puppy, brand new. And it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and puppy's yapping and putting its cold little nose on your arm, wanting you to get up, play with it, take it out, do whatever little puppies need to do at 2 o'clock in the morning. But nobody wants to get out at 2 o'clock in the morning and take the puppy out. Nobody does. So this person rolls over in bed, puts his covers back over his head, and falls back asleep. The alarm goes off to get up for school, and sleepily you kick the covers off, and you kick your feet off the side of the bed, and you step off into a little present that's smelly and gushy that little puppy left you because you wouldn't get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and take the puppy out. So there's consequences for every decision we make, isn't there? All right, so you are going to be a random body part because with each story I tell different things. So right now you're a foot. And to send a message that you just stepped in something nasty and smelly, what do you need in order to get the message to the brain? Help her out. What does she need? She needs a chemical. She needs a neurotransmitter. So let's see. Pufferfish is always a good one. So here's your neurotransmitter, and you're going to toss that from neuron to neuron until it gets up to the brain. And once it gets to the brain, Alex, you're the brain, what kind of a message do you think you need to send back to the rest of the part of the body? Probably several messages all at once. Probably some profanity would fly out of my mouth if I stepped in puppy poo, okay? So you're gonna send lots of different messages. Maybe, oh, nasty, and you're gonna jump up and down. Those are mini messages being sent from the brain. So go ahead, Alex, and just send a message back down here to the foot so it steps up out of the puppy poo. Okay? All right, so that's how it works normally. But it's happening very, very fast, isn't it? Touch your hand. Okay? You know that you're being touched instantly, don't you? Okay, you know that your hand is being touched. That's how fast that message travels from your hand up to your brain and from your brain back down. Okay? It's very, 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 very fast. Speed of light faster than that. Okay? Happens very fast. So that's what's going on normally, but what happens to a brain when drugs become introduced? Okay? Now we're going to pretend that this individual up here has used a specific kind of drug, one that depresses the body. Okay, there's two main categories. There's more than that, but two main categories we're going to talk today about drugs. One is depressants and the other is stimulants. So name me a depressant. Alcohol is an excellent example of a depressant. It slows everything way down, including your heart rate, including your respiration, including every function of your body. Thinking, problem solving, being able to react to danger. All of those things are slowed way down with the use of alcohol. Name me another. One that's illegal. Acid. Acid is not. Acid is a hallucinogen. And it has some characteristics of both depressants and stimulants, but it's under the category of hallucinogens. So I need a legal depressant. Go ahead, in the blue shirt there, huh? Marijuana, thank you. That's a perfect example of a drug that's illegal that slows the body way down, okay? So you are going to change your body part now. You're going to be the eyes. Okay, so now this individual has just spent the afternoon sitting on his couch smoking marijuana, watching nothing, doing nothing but watching television. And he decides that he's hungry and he's too lazy to get up and make anything, and he's too lazy to do anything. So what he's going to do is go to this convenience store for a hot dog, but I don't want to walk. But he looks out the window and Mom's car's there. Mom's not paying attention. She's down clear in the basement paying bills. Mom won't even notice. I'll be gone for 5 seconds. It'll be so fast, so quick. So now this person is driving down to the little convenience store to get a hot dog. So you're the eyes. So you're driving along, watch the road, driving along, and a yellow flash goes in front of the car. And behind that yellow flash is a 6-year-old little boy chasing after his ball across the road. What kind of a message, eyes, would you need to send to the brain?
Get out of the way. No, stop.
Stop the car. Stop the car. Good. You want the little boy to get out of the way, but you definitely want to stop the car. So, all right. So now you're the eyes, and you need to send that message up to the brain. But like we just talked about, marijuana does what?
Slow you down.
Slows everything down. Can you guys be like overly dramatically slow for me?
Yeah.
Okay. So be very slow, and you're gonna. Oh no! Leave it there. Leave it there. Okay, this happens often in a brain where any kind of a drug has been introduced. What happens is that the neurotransmitter doesn't get where it's supposed to go, so it has to start all the way over again. So here's a new neurotransmitter. You need to get the message up to the brain. Oh. Very good. You guys are awesome. Overly dramatic because it slows everything way down. Okay? Brain, you get the message, and you need to get another message back, but before you do that, I want to show you, what is happening to these poor neurons, okay? Marijuana destroys neurons, and it destroys the synaptic gap. So, can you have a hurt axon, please? Do you remember what the axon was? The arm? So you're going to have a damaged axon. You are going to be dead altogether, so go ahead and sit down. Your dendrites are damaged, so shrivel up your little dendrites, okay? You have a broken axon as well, a damaged axon, which is an arm or a leg, okay? And you also are going to have a damaged little dendrites. This is what's happening in the brain when a drug like marijuana gets introduced. Poor little neurons up there, okay? They're very, very small, and they're very, very defenseless against toxins like marijuana, toxins like methamphetamine or alcohol or tobacco, okay? So now, brain, you need to get this car stopped. So we gotta very slowly send another message back down to, okay? So the message got lost again. Here, brain. The message got lost. So the brain goes, oh my gosh, it's not stopping yet. I better shoot another message. So off it goes again. And it finally gets down to the foot to put on the brake. Is it in time to miss that poor little boy running across the street? No. That is exactly how accidents happen when people use drugs like marijuana or alcohol, because it slows down the person's reaction, slows down the ability to make good judgments. Like a good judgment would be not to get in the car at all. Okay? Using drugs like marijuana will take away your ability to make a good judgment for yourself. So this person got in the car, and their brain was not firing, their brain was not working properly. And that's how people, innocent people, get hurt. Okay, so now I need everybody to be back up and normal. So thank you for being a dead neuron, you are perfect. All right, so I need somebody to hold this microphone. Will you come hold the microphone? I need both hands for this one. Okay, just hold it like somewhere so everybody can hear. All right, thank you, good job. All right, so now we're going to talk about a drug that falls under the stimulant category. What drugs fall under that stimulant category? Crack or cocaine, very good. What else? Say again? Heroin falls under the opiate category, which is different, but okay. Steroids does not fall under this stimulant category either because it's a male hormone. Okay, go ahead. Methamphetamine, good. Do you have one? Speed is just a street name. It's just a generic name for methamphetamine or cocaine, anything that speeds up the body. But good, good thinking. Tobacco is a stimulant. It speeds up the system. Oatmeal. Oh, oatmeal. I was thinking oatmeal's a good thing. You should eat your oatmeal. Okay, opium is not a stimulant. Okay, it's under a different category. But stimulants that I want us to focus on that you may run into in your own community or when you go over to Missoula or when you go to college are tobacco, methamphetamine, and ecstasy, which is a very potent and very strong club drug, or it's also considered to be a date rape drug or a predatory drug. So today in this example, we're going to talk about methamphetamine. Methamphetamine is a growing problem across the entire state, and it doesn't need to be that way. With each and every one of you making a choice to stay away from that junk, we don't have a problem any longer. So this is what's happening in the brain of a person that's used methamphetamine. It's a stimulant. What's it doing? Speeding everything up. Heart rate is going 100 million miles an hour. Your poor heart is beating so fast that it's all stressed out and it could possibly cause a cardiac arrest or a heart attack. Your respiration is sped up. Every part of the brain and every part of the body is going 1 million miles an hour. Okay? Even these poor little neurons, they're going 1 million miles an hour as well. We're going to learn here how this is going to look and how the brain is not able to get messages to and from like it should. Okay, so you guys now, you need to be overly dramatically fast. Okay, so instead of being slow, you got to be really, really, really fast. This time, I'm going to send neurotransmitters as fast as I can until the brain gets the message and the brain gets a message back here, or until I run out of neurotransmitters. Okay, so I'm going to go as fast as I can, and you're going to go and go and go and go until a message gets there and a message gets back again, or until I run out. All right, so now this person used methamphetamine, and let's see, hungry, go in the kitchen to make a sandwich, and has bread, mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard, whatever you put on a sandwich. bologna and cheese, goes to cut a tomato and slices his finger down to the bone. So you're the finger now, and you need to send a message to the brain that the finger was just cut down to the bone, which can be a pretty serious cut. Okay? It's not a life-threatening cut, but it's a pretty serious one. Okay? So, again, I'm going to go as fast as I can. You guys are going to go as fast as you can. Brain, you're going to go as fast as you can. And let's see how well the brain gets a message and sends it back this way. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Okay, go. Faster, 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 faster. If it drops, it drops. Go faster. Come on, faster, faster. Faster, faster. Faster, faster. Oh, come on, you gotta go faster than that. Come on, faster, faster. Oh. Thank you. What? What happened? Brain, did you get a message ever? No. This poor neuron down here was so overly stimulated that it couldn't even get a hold of a neuron, let alone anything else. Okay, we're just going to leave those neurotransmitters on the floor for now. Okay, so.
Can I switch your spots? We're trying.
No, we're going to talk about the way it happened, because this is really what happens in the brain of a person using methamphetamine. Okay, so you got hit, I know, at least 5 or 6 times, so you're dead. Okay. And you got hit, I know, a couple times at least, so you're going to go ahead and sit down. And you may not have got hit, but you're definitely getting hurt, you got hurt or damaged, so you're missing a couple axons, and maybe your dendrites are hurt, and your dendrites are hurt, and okay? So this is what's happening in the brain of a person using methamphetamine. When the neurons get destroyed, they're no longer able to pass chemicals. They're no longer able to send messages with the neurotransmitter. Let's talk about one specific neurotransmitter. There's hundreds of different neurotransmitters in your body that do different things, but we're going to talk about dopamine right now. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and stand back up and relax. Okay, so dopamine. Does anybody know what dopamine is or what it does? Okay. Do you know what it is? Actually, it's not a drug. Actually. Okay? Dopamine is your natural feel-good chemical. We all have it. We all have it. It's a part of our brain. It's a part of our bodies. It's the chemical. Okay, can you guys just put those down? Thanks. Awesome. Okay. Dopamine is the natural feel-good chemical. Actually, if you guys don't want to stand up here, you don't have to. Thank you very much. Let's give these guys a round of applause. You guys did a great job being neurons. Okay, so back to dopamine. It's your natural feel-good chemical. So when you're hanging out with your friends, or you hear a really funny joke and you laugh until your stomach hurts, or you're watching a good movie, or you're eating an awesome pizza, or the best candy bar in the world, or whatever makes you happy, downhill skiing, whatever makes you feel really, really good, that's your dopamine allowing you to feel good. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that's produced by our neurons up here in our brain. And if methamphetamine or if marijuana or alcohol or tobacco starts to destroy these individual neurons, how are they able to produce the dopamine? They don't. They don't. So if our neurons are destroyed and our dopamine's not working, how do we feel? How do we feel when our dopamine's not there? You're like, okay? Think about the worst thing that's ever happened to you in your entire life. And multiply that times 10. Because that's how a person feels when they don't have the dopamine in there to help them feel good naturally. So if they feel awful, depressed, miserable, and they've used drugs, and they know that that makes them feel good, what are they going to go back to? They're going to go back to using meth, or they're going to smoke another joint, or whatever the case may be, because they feel awful without it. The drug makes them feel really good. But when the drug's not in the system, your dopamine's not there to pick you up, because these neurons are destroyed, and they're not producing the dopamine you need to feel good naturally. What am I describing? When the person needs that to make them feel good. It causes depression, but it's a disease. What's it called? Addiction. Okay, it's considered a disease because your brain is changing. Your brain cells, or the neurons, are being destroyed, and the dopamine is not being produced. And the person depends on, relies on that drug in order to make them feel good. And they'll do anything to get the drug. They'll steal from their family. They'll do things they wouldn't normally do, like steal cars or hold up gas stations, because their brain is not working the way it should. You're not making decisions the way the person should. And they feel awful without the drug, so they need to get it. And that's addiction. And if a person needs to take more and more and more of the drug in order to get that same high they got the first time, what's that called? That's kind of a slang term. It's called tolerance. When the body gets used to the drug in there, it needs more and more and more. And that's because these poor neurons are getting destroyed. With each use of a drug, more and more neurons get destroyed, which means they need more and more of the drug to make them feel good. So a person becomes addicted, and their whole life revolves around the drug. They'll do anything. People that start out popping a pill of meth or whatever, pretty soon that pill's not good enough, and they need more. So they start to snort it, or they start to smoke it, or they start to inject it. And they don't want anybody to know that they're doing it because it's illegal, and they want to hide their addiction. They start to stick that needle in places that they know people won't know, like up their fingernail or in between their toes. That's what addiction does. It causes people to do things that they wouldn't normally do. Now, I mentioned ecstasy a minute ago when we were talking about stimulants. Does anybody know what ecstasy is or what it does? Okay, it often comes in a pill form, that's good. Okay, what else do we know? Go ahead.
It heats up the body, slows it down.
Good, it doesn't actually, it's a stimulant. It's, ecstasy is a street name. Do you guys want to know what the real name is? It's MDMA, or methylene dioxymethamphetamine. So what part of that do you recognize and know a little bit about? Methamphetamine. Okay. Ecstasy and methamphetamine are very close in chemical makeup. And yes, it increases the body temperature. It increases it to over 100 degrees, and it stays there. And if your body temperature stays up above 100 degrees for a long period of time, what's happening to your brain?
It's getting fried.
Yeah. Permanent brain damage. Permanent brain damage. And it can happen on one-time use. One-time use can damage your brain, and it won't recover from it. And your brain will never work the same again. One-time use can be deadly. Can kill a person because it increases the heart rate. Could cause a person to have a heart attack. Ecstasy, as well as GHB and ketamine, are all considered to be club drugs or predatory drugs. What do I mean by predatory drugs? Go ahead. Say again? Nope, they don't fight over them. Although when drugs are involved, aggression goes up and people do things they wouldn't normally do, and they fight with their best friend. So aggression and violence go hand in hand with drug use, no doubt about it.
Oh, like club owners, like buy the drugs and then just sell them more.
Okay, that's true. Clubs, they're called raves, oftentimes. They'll have lots and lots of drugs there. And there'll be lots of variety, for whoever comes there can just pick out of a pile and take drugs. Okay? They're called rave clubs, and always associated with drugs. Always associated, especially with drugs like ecstasy. But we're talking specifically about predatory drugs. What does that mean? Do you know? Easier to rape. Thank you. It's predatory drug. It's the same thing as the date rape drug. And ecstasy, GHB, and ketamine all fall under that category. And they're all drugs that are associated with rave clubs. And what happens, does anybody know what GHB does? GHB is a clear liquid that doesn't have much smell and it doesn't have much taste, so it can be slipped into a drink very easily. And what it does is it paralyzes the body. And that's what the rapist is waiting for. Paralyzes the body. The person can still see and feel and hear everything, but they just can't move. How awful would that be? How incredibly awful would that be? Ketamine, does anybody know what ketamine is? Ketamine is a large animal tranquilizer. Anybody a horse person? Ketamine is a tranquilizer used with horses. If it's used on a person, it makes them blackout cold, which is what the rapist is waiting for. And then the next morning, they have amnesia. They can't remember what happened the night before, which is perfect for a rapist because they can rape and then their victim doesn't have any clue as to what happened the day before. Okay. So ladies, 5 out of 10 ladies by the time you're 20 years old will have a sexual assault encounter of some kind. Men, 4 out of 10 by the time you're 20 will have an unwanted sexual assault occur on you. Those are pretty scary statistics, really. And the biggest reason this is happening is because young people, college age, high school age, or younger, want to go to these raves, want to go to these parties, and be cool and hang out. Somebody slips something in a drink that's left on the counter, GHB, ketamine, ecstasy will make a person black out as well. And then they're able to take advantage or rape. So, I was in school once. I know how it is. I know that partying was part of what happened in high school. But I want to give you a few helpful hints, okay? Because I'm here to give you information. I'm here to give you skills so you guys can make decisions on your own. So if you go up to a party and there's somebody looking out at the door, they have a watch out, what does that indicate? What does that indicate? Okay, most likely they're doing something illegal inside that house. Drugs, whatever the case may be. They're looking for parents, they're looking for police officers to come by so they can notify everybody inside. So if you go up to a house, you go into a party, and there's a lookout, stop and think. Well, there's a lookout, that probably means there's somebody doing something illegal inside. You go in that house, even if you choose not to use the drugs and the police bust that party, you're busted too. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay? So you go into a house, and there's a big bowl of pills sitting in the middle of the room. It's called farming. Not farming like F-A-R-M-I-N-G like we do here in Montana, but pharmaceutical farming. People that come to these parties, they dump random pills into a big bowl, and then throughout the party, people just grab it out of the bowl and take whatever. Can you imagine how damaging that could be to your poor body, putting random pills in there? This is what's happening at these rave clubs, or these big parties where drugs are involved. So if you walk into a party and there's a big bowl of pills, then you can make a decision from there. Am I going to stay and put myself in the situation, or am I going to hightail it out of here and find something else to do? Another thing that I would encourage every single one of you to do, if you're wanting to go to a party and hang out with friends, that's all good. Have a buddy with you. In the military, we use battle buddies. We use battle buddies in the Army, wingmen in the Air Force. I forget what the Navy calls their, whatever. They're battle buddies, though. They have somebody there with them all the time so they can take care of each other. That's the idea. So if you want to go to a party, grab your friend. Say, before you go in that door, make a pact with each other. I'll take care of you, you take care of me. We'll watch each other's back. If you see somebody slip something in my drink, which shouldn't happen if you have your drink with you all the time, if you have your soda pop with you or your punch with you all the time, then nobody can slip anything into your drink. But if your friend's watching out for you, then they can catch something like that happening. If they see that you're not using drugs, they see that you're just hanging out drinking soda, and pretty soon you're getting dizzy and you don't feel well and you feel like you're going to pass out or get sick, then somebody slips something in your drink and he or she needs to get you to the doctor, get you to the hospital. That's what the battle buddy's there for, to watch out. Another good thing that a battle buddy is good for is if you walk up to a house and they have a lookout out, you look at your buddy and you say, hey, you know, they're probably doing something illegal in there. I don't really want to be a part of that. Your friend really doesn't want to be a part of that. Then you two can go find something to do together. It's easier to walk away from a party if you have your buddy there with you. It's easier to say no. It's easier to resist peer pressure if you have your buddy there with you and you're on the same page. You agree to hang out with each other. You agree to not leave each other behind. You agree to take care of each other. Okay? It's important. We have to take care of each other to survive sometimes, don't we? Doesn't matter what we're doing. Even if it's trying to get through math class, a buddy helps because she may know math a little better than you do. So surviving math class helps to have a buddy, a friend that you can trust. Okay. So those are just some helpful hints to get you through the rest of middle school, get you through high school, get you through college, but it's really up to you guys. With every choice that you make, it determines whether or not your future will be bright and you make all your dreams come true, or if your future will turn into this huge monster nightmare. And that's exactly what drugs will do. It will turn every dream that you have right now into a nightmare. So make good choices for yourself. Take care of your body. Put good things into your body, not bad things. Okay? Treat your body well. You only have one heart. You only have one brain. Treat them nicely. You treat them nicely, they're going to treat you nicely the rest of your life. Okay? So 8th graders, congratulations for making it through the 8th grade almost. You're very, very close. Good luck in high school next year. Good luck. And have a really great summer. I really appreciate you that your school has invited us in, and I've really, really enjoyed being here. I don't know how much time we have. Looks like 7 minutes, which is good. So I would like to bring my fellow comrades up here. Chris Bryce was the pilot that landed us nicely in your football field out there, and Lieutenant Carla Lott. She is new to the program, but she is now my new boss. So we would like to give you an opportunity to talk to us. I've talked at you enough, so talk to us. What questions do you have about what we do, or what questions do you have about the information that we've covered today? Anything really, you can shoot. So go ahead. PT, physical training? It is if you're out of shape. But once you get in shape, it's a breeze, and it actually can be pretty fun. My unit likes to do like volleyball and stuff like that in order to help keep our hearts beating, and so I don't know. You guys do more strenuous PT than I do, though, so I'm going to hand over the mic.
Thank you. PT in the military it can be what you make it, and physical exercise for you all is what you make it. How many athletes do we have in here? Football, basketball, softball. It's what you make of it, and if you stay healthy and treat your bodies right. I joined the military when I was 30 years old, and I'm not going to share how old I am now with you, but I came into the National Guard when I was 30 years old, so it can always be done. So physical exercise. Now I can run. The last time I checked, I ran 6 miles in 40 minutes. So if you average that out, that's about 6 miles per minute for 40 minutes. 6 minutes per mile for 40 minutes, so about 6 miles. I don't know if Bryce.
Go ahead. Your system definitely would be confused. It wouldn't know what to do. It would speed parts of it up and slow parts of it down. It's doing, you guys know math, 1 + 1 = 2. Not when you combine drugs. When you combine drugs in your system, 1 + 1 = 20. So whether it's 2 depressants or a stimulant and a depressant, it's doing multiple damage to your body all at the same time. So remember that when it comes to mixing drugs, whether it's alcohol and ecstasy or meth and marijuana, whatever the drugs are, Taking one is bad. Taking two of them together is lethal. It's very, very dangerous to your body.
Is it easy to fly a helicopter?
Well, I always get that question. Remember how it was when you first learned how to ride a bike? Kind of tough, fell down a lot. That's kind of how it was when I first learned it, but now it's just fall off.
Have you ever destroyed a helicopter?
Destroyed one?
Yes.
No.
Hopefully not one either.
Completely destroyed? No, I found broken parts on the helicopter, but I haven't completely broken one.
How do you start the helicopter?
Why?
How many years did you go to school to fly?
A little over a year.
A little over a year. So learn how to fly. So there you go. Just go to flight school.
Do you have to take simulations to like learn how to fly stuff?
Say what?
Do you have to use simulations to learn how to fly?
Absolutely not. My first flight in a helicopter, I was sitting in the front seat, in front of the controller. No simulator at all.
Is it fun flying a helicopter?
Oh yeah, blast.
Your first time?
Well, the first time was scary. It's a big thing.
What do the girls do in the military?
Just about everything that the guy did.
That's right. That's right. I think there's one exception. We can't be in front lines. We can't be infantry.
We can't be what's called a combat MOS. All females in the United States military, all branches, we fall into what's called non-combat or support roles. So quartermaster, engineers, maintenance, ordnance, pilots.
When I'm not doing this job, I'm in construction. I build horizontally and vertically, very, very quickly. They call it expedient horizontal and vertical construction. So I can pour concrete, I can put up walls, I can do drywall, you name it, I can do it. That's what I do outside this job. So females can do just about everything women can do in the military.
Is it like after when you're like in the military, is it like just instinct to stay in attention?
Say that again.
Is it like just instinct to stay in attention all the time?
No. It takes practice. Are we standing at attention up here? No. It takes a lot of practice to learn all the drills, moves, and standing at attention. That's why they send me through basic training or boot camp, so that you can learn all that stuff. It doesn't come naturally.
Is the National Guard like arms?
The National Guard actually has two branches. It has the Army National Guard and the Air National Guard, and we work together as a team. So
And we are components of the active duty.
that's right. What the National Guard is it's like a part-time job that connects to active duty. So anytime an active duty component needs to go overseas to Afghanistan and they need help, they'll call up the Guard and say, send me some people, and we help them out. That's our main mission, to help.
We train during the year. Our focus is to train to integrate into the active duty side of the Army once we're called to a mission.
We have time for one more question.
How much does the helicopter cost?
How much? That one I've seen is million miles up to about $250,000.
Not bad.
Save your hours.
Alright, so we don't have time for any more questions. I appreciate that you have them. That's awesome. I just want to send you away with one thing, and that's to make all your dreams come true. Okay, you have what it takes. You have the choices. So make it happen. Make your dreams come true. Don't let drugs or anything else get in your way. Thank you very much.
Go to the helicopter!